Tate McRae, just keep watching. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Music Reviews Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Guys, we got a great episode for you today. We're talking about the one and only Tate McRae once again. Guys, it's been a little bit since I've talked about Tate McRae. I think it's been, honestly, quite a goddamn minute. Let's just be real. The last time I talked about Tate McRae was that Morgan Wallen song, but we never really talked about Tate McRae in a bit for her music, for itself. So guys, today we have Tate McRae. This song's called Just Keep Watching. This is from the F1 movie. So guys, this is an F1 movie soundtrack song, which, could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. But, typically if it's going to be a movie pop song, for a movie, if it's going to be a pop song for a movie, it's not going to be really, fleshed out as that much. Let's just be real. From Don Toliver and Doja Cat, from Rose, and, I'll be real, the F1 soundtrack, the songs have been just kind of okay. But guys, today we got Tate McRae. Just keep watching. Let's get into it. Starting off with the beat, let's talk about the beat. First of all, I'll say this. I do like the beginning of the beat. I like this bass. I like how this bass just kind of rises up a little bit as you're listening to it. And honestly, too, guys, when you really think about it, I like the fact that, we're combining these, more kind of club, trap, pop beat elements, but we're also, adding some switch-ups. I think one of the main things about, the other F1 soundtrack songs is that the instrumentals feel a little bit too samey. I'm not going to say like this one's groundbreaking or anything. Let's just be real, guys. There's only one beat switch, and it kind of just goes back to what the hook has originally. But I will say, for what we have on this song, you do get some nice vibes. I like how the drums, they're explosive. I like that bass. That bass sounds really deep, really good, too, when you listen to it. And also, having Tate McRae with those background vocals really helping out the track, really adding some value when you're listening to the song. So that's a good thing, too. And I do like that little switch-up. There is that little bit of an instrumental switch-up, which I feel like was missing with the other F1 soundtrack songs. Guys, even if you're watching a movie, in my opinion, when you're listening to a song either way, having some instrumental variation can really help out a song, can really prop it up, can really make it sound a lot better than it would be if it's the same beat just over and over and over again. Synths are pretty just the same, it's these kind of synthy kind of piano, it's pretty simple, I'll be real. There's not much to talk about with the instrumental, because the instrumental is just kind of simple synths, simple piano. The real thing that we're getting is that beat, we're really getting that bass, we're really getting those other elements. There's other elements in this beat to really bring it up. But guys, not everything's the beat. The beat's just kind of okay. Let's get into the main stuff. All right, starting off in the beginning with the first verse from Tate McRae. I'm going to say this. I think Tate McRae sounds really good on this beat. I will say this, when the beat kicks in and it kicks in with that classic, EDM kind of beat drop, it's all right, But I will say for the beginning, when the beat's just kind of building up to it, when it's just kind of warming up, when those drums are kind of in the background, when that bass is kind of just rising up very slowly, when you have Tate McRae adding some value with the lyrics here, the lyrics are pretty good, you have some good vocals. I like the singing on here. I like how, Tate McRae is really flowing on this track. One of the main things that I like about Tate McRae's, music is that, she really knows how to flow on a beat, and I think that's really underrated. A lot of times when I listen to pop artists, the flow of the song can get really samey, can get really much of the same. So when Tate McRae, really comes on these beats and adds some flow switches, adds some great vocal switch-ups too. I like the singing when we get to the hook. But let's get to the hook. I will say this, guys, the hook's a little disappointing. I think the Just Keep Watching hook, it has some nice build-up, but it's one of those things where your verse can be a really great, strong start. You can really build up to the first verse, but once we get to that hook, once we get to that EDM drop, and then the vocals kind of go on the back end, we kind of just rely on the background vocals for Just Keep Watching. And I think that really brings down the song a little bit. I really wish maybe there would have been some vocal switch-ups on this hook. I really wish we got some more singing. There's little notes of singing, but that's just kind of it. They're just kind of notes of singing. There's not just really much separating this track. which is a little disappointing in my opinion. When I listen to pop songs, I want some variation. Too many of the times pop songs can sound really much of the same. So I think, adding some variation from the hook could really help out this song, and I think that's what this song is missing. But I will say this, I think the second verse is pretty strong. That's my one thing about this song. I think the verses are actually really strong. So let's go to that second verse. Guys, that second verse had a really nice switch up. We get a nice vocal switch up. We get more Tate McRae singing on the second verse. We got her, doing the more melodic pop flow. But now you got Tate McRae really starting to sing her vocals out on the second half of the song, which is really nice. I like that switch up. I like this little slight switch up of, let's let the vocals really speak out on the second verse. I think that just adds some value. I think it really adds some great value to the track. And I think it really makes when we get to the second hook, I think it makes that, build up a little bit more better. But then we run into the same issue. We have this basic ass hook. And that's my only critique about this song. And the beat. I think that's also a critique too. Let's just be real. I mean, the beat's kind of whatever. So guys, when we talk about Tate McRae, just keep watching. I think, the verses are really strong. I think the verses have some nice value to them. But that beat's just a basic EDM pop beat. There's just nothing to it. It had some nice moments. It had some nice sound effects in the background. But when it builds up, guys, and we just get this kind of basic EDM drop, it's kind of like, what am I even listening to? Why am I listening to this song when, we have such a basic-ass EDM drop? But then we get a nice verse. We get a few nice verses. Then we get that nice hook. So, yeah, guys, overall, this is a pretty good song. And as I finish this review, it's going to start raining. I mean, holy shit. Guys, this song's just okay. Overall, I'm going to give this song a 6 out of 10, guys. 6 out of 10, what y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. Guys, if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow, turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every day. Guys, it's Thursday night. I'm officially back. We have all kinds of content to talk about. We got Miley Cyrus. We got KSI. We got Lil Tecca. We got a lot of songs to cover. Hopefully some other stuff drops later down, this weekend or week. But as of right now, guys, I'll say y'all already have a good one. Bye.